Hello everyone, and welcome to our first Mega Man X DiVE update in a couple of weeks. Yeah, news on this front has been rather slow, but we do have some things to share with you today. Not only Mega Man X DiVE, but we're also going to be sharing news on some other things that have come out recently. I am your humble host, ShadowRock as always, and let's charge kick things off with some Mega Man X DiVE news. Once again, the official Rockman X DiVE Facebook page is showing us things from the already teased Storm Arrow stage from Mega Man X4. The caption says, "Can you recognize them?" And the image itself talks about a new stage and new enemies, along with some panels showing some of the enemies you can expect in Storm Arrow stage. From top left to bottom right, we have Turn Cannon from X1, Guardroid from X8 with the Poison Sprayer. Oof, Poison Sprayers are not fun. Now this enemy is a deep cut. Many people, including myself, may not immediately remember what the heck this enemy is, but it is the Big Bit from Mega Man X Command Mission. What the heck is a Big Bit? Well, it's an upgraded version of the Bit enemy that can be summoned by Prions, also in Command Mission. So considering that this is an enemy that was summoned by another enemy in the game, and it's not a particularly memorable enemy either, yeah, they're really digging deep for these references. But more on the Prions in just a sec. Next up, we have a couple of variations of the Guardroid enemies, except they're purple, looking a bit more like Vile. You may remember these guys from Flame Mammoth stage back in the X DiVE beta test. And they were not fun, because this one, for example, has a flamethrower. It does continual damage if you get hit. That's not fun. And this other one, in the next image, has some kind of melee weapon. A hammer? A pickaxe? It's something at least. But also in this image we have the big boy. In my opinion, the coolest throwback in this entire image. It's none other than the Prion Elite from Mega Man X Command Mission. We were just talking about how Prions in that game could summon the Big Bit. Well, now we have an actual Prion from the game. If you played Command Mission, you would know that the Prions were essentially the mechanoids that were always following the commands of the leaders of the Rebellion Army. X and company faces off against them many times throughout the game. And there's a lot of different types of Prions. The Elite, for example, has a shield and a blaster. It does not summon bits though. So going back to the Big Bit at the top, originally the Big Bit was summoned by the models of Prions that were based off of Botos, one of the cadres of the Rebellion Army. However, the Boto-S Prion is nowhere to be seen in this image, but the fact that the Big Bit exists, could that point to the fact that there is a Boto-S Prion in Storm Arrow stage somewhere, and maybe that Prion would summon the Big Bit? That could be a pretty cool reference, or the Big Bit would just be a standalone enemy this time. Since you have to remember, the only game that we've seen these Prions in, it was in an RPG setting. We have not seen these enemies in action in a 2D setting yet, so it's going to be very interesting and awesome, not to mention, to see how they are going to make these enemies react in a 2D space. Is the Elite Prion still going to guard attacks? There's only one way to find out. Another ability that the Elite Prion had was ordering enemies to attack you, or one of your party members rather. And we just see in this image that there is a Guardroid running right next to the Prion. One of my favorite little quirks from the original Command Mission is how when the Prion did the order and locked onto one of your partners, the other Prions next to it would say, "Yes sir!" So it would be pretty funny if that happened in this game as well. The last thing in this image is the background from the second half of Storm Arrow stage with the giant airplanes. It's nice to see those in 3D. Moving on then, we have the Plasma Cannon from X4. This enemy actually does belong to Storm Arrow stage. Also, hello there Cinnamon, how you doing? Yep, aside from the clip that we saw with Cinnamon in the character select screen, this is the first time we're seeing Cinnamon actually inside a stage. So it seems like that she's almost ready to go, and we may see her at the next open beta test or at the game's launch. The second and last enemy is one we've already talked about in the last video. It's RT-55J from Mega Man X1. The mini-boss from Steam Chameleon stage. This is an enemy that the Rockman X DiVE Facebook page has already been teasing in the past, like we covered before, so there's not much else new to say here, other than there he is. It seems like they were teasing this guy for good reason, because it's looking like he's going to be at least one of the bosses that you will face in Storm Arrow stage. Lastly, we have the Spiky from X1 and X8. We've seen this in other stages before, so nothing new there. Our last observation we have to make with these set of screenshots is really the background of each one. You can see how it starts out at sunset, and as we move along, the sky does get darker. So I was talking about before about how I prefer the nighttime theme that the original X4 stage had, and it does seem here that in X-Dive, as you progress through the stages, we start out in the daytime and then we move over to nighttime towards the end, which is pretty cool. Nice to see that they're doing that. Alright, let's see what other X-Dive news we have here. Let's see, memes, more memes. Well, actually this meme's kind of funny. This was their Halloween post back on October 31st. And you have X knock on the door, Ryu comes out, and X says, trick or open beta test. And this is pretty much their way of saying that the open beta test is coming, but they're still working on it. And that's exactly what Ryu says. And X is like, alright, but what about my candy? It's pretty silly, but I like how they're being pretty creative with these memes and tying fans over until more news comes. They also shared a chart recently where they're showing us how many fans from each country took part in the survey that we did back when the closed beta test was still a thing. It makes a lot of sense that Taiwan took the top spot, but man, Philippines, Thailand, Brazil, you guys in those countries are lit right now. Even more than the United States, which I would imagine a lot of people on this site would have been people from the US, but apparently not. So that's some pretty interesting information right there. Another interesting thing, which I don't know if it means anything, but it's worth saying. They put out a post asking people, do you know what date Mega Man Day is? And you know, there's a lot of answers people could come up with, like June 9th, because that's Rockman Day. Basically, the Japanese like to make numbers based on words, how they sound. Roku is 6 and Q is 9. So if you put them together, you get June 9th. So that's a fan holiday, but in my personal opinion, when they say what is Mega Man Day, more than likely they're talking about the official anniversary for Mega Man, which is December 17th, 1987. This was the day that 2 years ago Capcom held that fateful stream where they announced Mega Man 11. So while it's hard to say if this image or this question means anything, it could just be trivia, you know, testing the Rockman fans to be like, hey, you know, when's the anniversary? Do you know about that? But still, it is a bit of a specific question, wouldn't you think? And we are approaching Mega Man X's 26th anniversary very soon, which is actually on the same day, December 17th. Funny how that worked out. So like I said, I don't want to get hopes up, but what if they are teasing maybe the launch date for Mega Man X Dive, at least over in Taiwan and everything. That would be pretty cool if Mega Man X Dive came out on Mega Man X's birthday. We'll have to wait and see on that, but there's something to think about. Personally, I'm hoping that this year they'll have a stream where they announce X9, say, hey, Rockman X Dive is out right now, and maybe some other things, but just those two would make me happy. That would be a heck of a way to start 2020, but that's just a pipe dream. I'm not saying it's going to happen, that's just what I would want. Capcom is really focused on making Mega Man 0 and ZX Legacy Collection the best they can right now, since they just delayed it a month. So they're probably hard at work on fixing those bugs. They don't have time to be worrying about X9 and stuff, but who knows. Man, Capcom's had a problem with bugs lately, haven't they? Between X-Dive's closed beta test and now 0 and ZX Legacy Collection. Let's hope they get everything ironed out. This isn't official news, but it may as well be because it comes from one of our most trusted insider sources on this game, Protodude himself. He says, well gang, there's a couple neat surprises coming to Rockman X Dive shortly after the game's official launch before the end of this year. These include at least one semi-surprise non-X series character and some rather festive skins. We should have news about the open beta soon. The surprise character isn't too shocking if you've been following the data mine breadcrumbs. Based off that, we could assume that that character is either a classic Mega Man, Proto Man, Mega Man 0 Series 0, or even Kalinka from Rockman crossover that we talked about before in the past. Or hey, it could even be Roll. If I had to take a wild guess, it's probably going to be classic Mega Man, or they could do MMZ 0 to tie in with the 0 and ZX Legacy Collection. Protodude isn't saying who it is exactly, but those are our options if it is indeed based on the leak. But what I really want to pay attention to is the festive skin. So wait a minute, hold on a moment. Does that mean we're getting Christmas skins like Santa Roll, Christmas Area, Zero equipped with Christmas lights, Reindeer X? But most importantly, boy, I can't wait for the summertime when we're gonna get Bikini Navigators. Oh boy, they knew. The next piece of official news is this neat little thing for fans. Right now they are having a weapon design contest for Mega Man X DiVE. This contest is running from now until January 7th, 2020, and fans can create and submit their own weapon design in the Buster, Gatling, or Saber category. So hey, if you want to design your own Gatling gun for Cinnamon to use in the game, here you go. Now on January 7th, the development team is going to pick 30 of the best designs, and on January 13th, 2020, the fans will be given the chance to vote on their favorite designs. The top 3 winning designs, the ones that receive the most votes, will be featured in the game, and those winners will get some goodies in the game, a figure, artwork signed by Keisuke Mizuno himself, the artist of the Mega Man X series, and their name in the game's credits. Pretty awesome. The other people in the top 10 that didn't make it to the top 3 is going to get a sticker and 1,000 elemental medals to use in the game. And for everyone else that didn't participate, as long as you vote on a design, you'll get 50 elemental medals. It's not much, but it's something. I'll leave a link to the contest page in the description below if you want to check it out, but those are the basics. I have to wonder though, if anyone besides me has gotten any of their physical goods from any of the contests that they won in the past. For example, I won an autograph from Keisuke Mizuno, as you guys know, but I have not gotten that yet, nor have I heard anything about it. And originally that was supposed to ship out on September 30th. That was a month and a half ago. Now in my case it's kind of special because I entered the contest with the ShadowRock Facebook page because I didn't want to give away my personal details, but then I realized Facebook is very flawed as a social media platform. What I mean by that is, if you are a Facebook page, you cannot private message another Facebook page. You have to do it with your personal account. So you can see how it gets very tricky when it comes to verifying your identity to actually receive the prize. Of course, I did attempt to explain the situation to them and provide proof that I own my page. It seems like they read my message too, but I just haven't heard anything. So if I end up missing out on the autograph because Facebook is very flawed, it is what it is, but man, that's a bummer. I am still curious though if anyone else that won that contest got their autograph. Tell me in the comments or DM me on any of my social media platforms like Twitter if you happen to get it, or just heard anything about it in general. I'm very curious about that. Anyways, let's hop off my soap opera, and let's hop on Mr. Keiji Inafune's. I hope you're not a PlayStation fan that lives in Japan that also likes Mighty No. 9, because that game is gone from the PlayStation Store as of a few days ago.
Wait, what?
Yep, it's already gone. There's no official reason why this happened, but essentially what seems to be happening is that Spike Chunsoft is the publisher of Mighty No. 9 in Japan, and they already took down games like Homefront: The Revolution and Saints Row 4 off the PlayStation Store, because their publishing deal with Deep Silver has expired. That seems to be the most likely case in Mighty No. 9 as well, and if that is the case, Mighty No. 9 should be safe from all the other regions. This is only really affecting Japan. If you are one of those users affected by this, you can still download the game anytime if you already bought it. It's just that if you haven't bought the game on the Japanese store, you cannot do that anymore. But for that very specific user base that was interested in the game and can no longer buy it, F in the chat. While we're on the topic of Japan, let's talk about the Rockman Live 2020 concert that's happening over there once again. This time we have the final set list for these concerts. On top of that, there will be a new song that was composed for the Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection being performed by the newly formed Captoon Band, which is made up of a lot of different Capcom sound team members. We talked about them before. Anyways, the final set list is as follows. From Rockman 2, opening title, stage select, Game Start, Airman Stage, which is only being played at the January 4th Tokyo performance and the January 18th Osaka lunch performance. Metalman Stage, which is only going to be on January 5th at Tokyo performance and January 18th at the Osaka night performance. Boss Theme, Stage Clear. Get a Weapon, Crashman Stage, Heatman Stage, and Bubbleman Stage, which those three are only going to be at the January 4th Tokyo performance and the January 18th Osaka lunch performance. Woodman Stage, Flashman Stage, and Quickman Stage, which will only be at the January 5th Tokyo performance and the January 18th Osaka night performance. The Game Over theme, the Password theme, Dr. Wily's Map theme, Dr. Wily Stage 1, and lastly, all stage clear. From Rockman EXE 1, theme of Rockman EXE, Firefield, Operation, Net Battle, versus Dream Virus, or for us Westerners, versus the Life Virus, and the Winter theme. From Mega Man 0 and ZX Legacy Collection, we have Reboot, which is the brand new song, Departure, Cannonball, Theme of Zero. That's all the Zero tracks. Then we have from Mega Man ZX, Through the Lightning, Rockin' On, Trap Factory, and Trap Phantasm. And then Captune will be playing Running Through the Cyber World from EXE, Esperanto from Rockman 04, and Dr. Wily Stage 1, the classic from Rockman 2. They also have some cool guests lined up for these concerts. They have Team Shachi, who recently did that crossover with Mega Man. And side note, we can't show the music video, but I did like it a lot. They used Dr. Wily Stage 1's theme, obviously, as the sample, but it also feels like more of its own tune all the same. And I liked how they included a lot of different marching band members in that music video, and I used to be in marching band in high school, so that was a plus for me. Really cool to see, and I like the music video a lot. I'll even put a link to it in the description below if you guys want to see that. And of course there's that mobile game as well that you can play that's based off that song. The one of the old Mega Man and old Robot Masters. Anyways, that's only at the Tokyo concerts that Team Shachi will appear. The other guests include the voice actors of Land Hikari, or Neto Hikari in this case, and Mega Man EXE or Rockman EXE from the Japanese version of the Battle Network anime. That's really awesome to get. Last but not least, we have Nozomi Yuzuriya, which helped out Uchi in the past at the 30th anniversary live concert as the Master of Ceremonies, and she will be joining Uchi-san once again on stage for the Tokyo concert. In addition, we got some more merchandise if you happen to be there. Concert brochures, pen lights, live t-shirts, muffler towels, tote bags, rubber bands, original stickers, and limited gacha acrylic keychains, and that speaker. Oh boy, the gacha's already begun, and the Battle Network mobile game hasn't even been announced yet. See the links in the description below for lots more information on the Rockman Live 2020 concerts if you care about it at all. That wraps up for our Mega Man specific news, but there is one more thing for fans of the Mega Man-esque type games. You guys might remember when I interviewed Inti Create a while back, and I asked Matt Papa of Inti one of the burning questions that you guys had. Is there going to be Blaster Master 02 DLC? Obviously you couldn't say much about it back then, but today is the day, my boys and girls. Today is the day we're finally getting Blaster Master 02 DLC, and the first one is pretty awesome. It's a new DLC character, Copen from the Azure Striker Gunvolt series. More specifically, this version of Copen is based off his appearance in Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Adventure X, his own game. They've translated all of his abilities from that game over into Blaster Master 02. Air dashing, wall jumping, the Muse ability, EX weapons, locking on, it's all here. The tank has even gotten a makeover, because now it looks exactly like Lola, similar to that Lola Pod boss from Luminous Adventure X, and there's some other very cool Copen and Lola specific abilities on display as well. Looks like a lot of fun, and this DLC will be coming out pretty soon on November 29th, 2019. But that's not all. For you PC players out there, Inti Creates is happy to announce that Blaster Master 02 will now be coming to PC via Steam on November 29th, 2019 as well. That means you guys on the PC can finally play both Blaster Master 0 games, and honestly, you guys should check out these games. They are really, really good. And if you do happen to buy the game, you can take advantage of the crossover event where you can download Copen for free until December 12th, 2019. Once the promotion is over, the DLC will be $2, so it's not too bad. But hey, check out the game and get Copen for free, guys. That's my recommendation. Of course, if you are still on the fence, I do plan to stream Copen and Blaster Master 02 when he comes out. Should be a lot of fun. That will do it for our news update on Mega Man and Blaster Master 02. For all things Mega Man X Dive, Mega Man Integrates, and lots more, stay tuned to ShadowRockZX as always. Until next time, rock on and have yourselves a great day.